The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the webinar hosted by SEP and Oracle. We're going to be discussing backup and disaster recovery for your Oracle environments today. And my name is Richard Yeager, and I'm the marketing manager for SEP. And today I'm joined by Greg King from Oracle and Lanai Bain from SEP. Greg is the product manager for Oracle VM and works on backup best practices and has written several white papers on disaster recovery with Oracle. He's been with Oracle over 10 years, and we're very happy he's able to join us this afternoon. For SEP, we have Lanai Bain, who is the VP of Business Development, and he will be showing you how our one solution can back up and protect Oracle environments of any size. And after that, we're going to have our senior engineer, James Delmonico, jump into a live demo and show you the product in action and just how it works on an Oracle database backup. So feel free to ask questions along the way using the bottom right question box on your screen, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So please utilize that question box, and we'll be sure to get to you. And I think we are ready to get started, so I will give the floor to Greg. And let me get your slides up here.
All right, thank you, Richard. As soon as I see the slides, I'll get started. There we go.
All right.
And you are in control, so if you can hit the next slide. All right, as Richard said, I'm Greg. I'm with the Oracle VM Best Practices Solutions. We're going to go ahead and go through best practices from our perspective here at Oracle. And then we'll move on to SEP's backup and recovery solution. And then, we have questions and answers at the end. But at the end of mine, you can also ask any questions you'd like. So please feel free. All right, Richard, next slide. Thank you. All right, I've been doing this for a while. I started out in data center operations as a production data center admin, and now, so I'm pretty technical. I get involved with a lot of customers and with their issues with Oracle VM and Oracle Linux. I'm not in support though, but I do get involved when people are having some serious issues. Those are generally due to not being able to recover. So instead of taking just a few minutes to recover, we can take hours or days to recover. So this is a very important topic. A lot of these issues are due, of course, to people failing to do backups in the first place. And then validation is key also. Are the backups you're actually taking actually working? And then there's also data inconsistency due to improper database or application state during backups. So virtual machines in Oracle VM, for instance, are not magical. You still need to do, prepare your applications and databases for backups for data integrity. Next slide, please. All right, so cloud computing is driving the need to deliver complete integrated stacks, not just components. So there's an ongoing need for greater optimization and efficiency. Now the requirements are going beyond just operating system provisioning, which means isolated hypervisors are not good enough since users need full stack provisioning and management. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right. So anyway, this is where Oracle's cloud strategy comes in. At the core of Oracle's strategy is Oracle VM, of course, and Oracle VM allows both x86 and Spark servers to be incorporated into a single cloud platform. So you can see them both in the same manager and manage both Spark servers and x86. Oracle VM provides the foundation for running both Oracle and non-Oracle applications in a virtual server environment also. And then Oracle VM supports guest operating systems such as Oracle Linux, Oracle Solaris, x86, and Microsoft Windows. And then this is all managed, if you look over there on the right-hand side of the illustration here, it can all be managed by Oracle Enterprise Manager, which rounds off our cloud strategy for fully integrated lifecycle and cloud management solution using Oracle VM. Next slide, please. So Oracle VM, what this slide is trying to show is Oracle VM is built into all layers of the Oracle stack. So Oracle VM templates at the top there accelerate application deployment. Now what a template is, for instance, is RAC. If you want to deploy RAC, even someone like me that doesn't know anything about RAC can easily take a template and implement RAC using our templates because it's pre-installed and ready to go. You just answer a few questions and move on. Then someone that knows what they're doing can take over after that. Oracle VM has best architecture design to achieve the highest performance, and Oracle VM scales with very large servers. And in fact, each virtual machine supports up to 128 vCPUs and 2 terabytes of memory, and that's for guest OS. And as I mentioned before, end-to-end management can be achieved with Oracle Enterprise Manager. Next slide, please. Okay, so this slide is, we'll go through real quickly, is just a combination of hardware, virtualization, middleware, databases, and packaged applications. When combined with integrated management across all layers, comprises the best building blocks for streamlined operations and maximum agility in the data center. It also creates the underpinnings for the future in cloud-based deployments. Next slide. Okay, so now let's get into some of the backup considerations for Oracle VM itself. And of course this applies to Oracle Linux also. Excuse me. So protect your Oracle VM infrastructure. We're going to talk about that in a little more detail, and then we're also going to talk about protecting your Oracle VM guests. Now these two things need to be backed up in concert with each other to make a fully robust, well-rounded recovery scenario. So you need to make sure that you can recover critical files on your Oracle VM servers, which are pretty minimal. Make sure you can recover the pool file system, which is a shared file system we use for the clustering. And make sure you can recover your Oracle VM management database. Now, moving on to the guest, you want to make sure that you can recover the virtual machine configuration files, and that's done as part of the infrastructure. Make sure you can recover the virtual disks, physical disks, and any NFS file systems that are being used by your guest operating systems. Next slide, please. Okay, so now these are the things that we're going to cover in a little more detail. We're going to start with the infrastructure, and then we're going to move on to guests. And so the infrastructure, the major components that we're going to be discussing here are the servers, the server pool, and then the management database. And then once we get to the guests, then we're going to talk about our current solution, which is agent-based backups. Next slide, please. So infrastructure first, best practices. So the best practices for backup is, first of all, when you install Oracle VM Server, we intend for you to just install it bare bones like it is without customizing anything. Now, of course, that doesn't always work for everybody, but that's what we're trying, we're recommending. So your recoveries become extremely easy. So you want to take a periodic backup of /etc weekly or monthly. And again, like I said, do not make custom changes unless directed by Oracle Linux support. Now, the weekly or monthly backups of /etc, there's nothing really that goes on the servers that changes much. They're pretty static once they've been installed and discovered and put into your server pool. There are a few things, but if you make any major changes that impact your servers, then of course you want to take a backup of that. Now, for and everything is of any consequences is contained in /etc. Recommended best practices for restore. So what we recommend is you just do a cold install of Oracle VM, which only takes a few minutes, and then you simply restore the contents of /etc. Next slide, please. Now, personally, while we're waiting for that slide to change there, what I do for /Etsy is I would create an NFS mount and mount it up, and then create my periodic backups with a date timestamp on them in that /Etsy, and I would save them to my NFS mount. And then, of course, there you take a tape backup. All right, so recommended best practice. Now we're going to talk about the server pool. Now, the server pool is your cluster, right? And something I need to mention about both the servers, or the servers and the server pool. The server pool is a pool file system. It's a shared file system that all of the servers in a pool see. And there are actually 3 different databases, and we're going to talk about the main one that everybody sees and thinks about. But there's also 2 small minor, well, they're not minor, but they're small databases, Berkeley databases, that are kept on the servers. One's kept on the server, which I call a local database, and then another small database is kept on your pool file system. And these are Berkeley databases, and these are where your clustering and high availability features really reside, not with the Oracle VM Manager. The Oracle VM Manager is important to back that up on a daily basis, which we do automatically, but that is not your critical database. You can run for days, weeks, or months without the Oracle VM Manager. It's tedious and not recommended, of course, but I just want to make sure that everybody doesn't panic when they lose their manager, because the real functionality of the cluster is on the servers, is between those servers and the pool file system. So if you lose a server and all your, you don't have any manager, all your virtual machines will still fail over automatically to other servers that remain up and running. So all the high availability features and all the all the VMs continue to run even though the manager's not around. So this is a very important thing to back up also, is this pool file system. So for the cluster, we recommend periodic hourly or daily backups of a storage platform capturing repositories using NFS or LUNs, iSCSI or a Fiber Channel. We'll get into this in a little bit detail in the next couple of slides. Now that's hourly or daily. Now, periodic daily or weekly would be of your storage platform where you would capture your pool file system, because there's not much that changes on that either. And again, those pool file systems can be either NFS or SAN, LUNs. So the recommended best practice for repositories is design these repositories, and this is very important, design these repositories around business systems with common backup requirements. So we'll see that in the next slide. Go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so here is, we're looking at repositories. Now, a lot of people take the create repositories like one big repository or 2 big repositories, and they put all their different various business systems in there and they mix them. Like they mix their CRM with their HR or their supply chain management or whatever you're running. And they'll mix them into a single repository. However, those different business systems, if you will, have different backup requirements. Like for instance, CRM here for development, they can do a daily cold backup. So you would want to have a repository that just for the CRM development sales portal. Right, and then you see right under that is a CRM prod sales portal. Now that has an hourly requirement, and it needs to be hot, not cold. So they have different backup requirements, and you should design your repositories using this scheme or something similar to this that works for you, so you're not mixing business systems with different backup and recovery requirements. That's very important. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. All right, so now we get to the, and this is all infrastructure. We're still talking about infrastructure. So backing up Oracle VM Management Database. Now again, the Oracle VM Management Database, the user interface that you manage all this through, if you're not using Enterprise Manager, or even if you are using Enterprise Manager, this is kind of a bookkeeping thing. if you will. Okay, I don't want to simplify it to the point of discounting it, because it's a very important component. However, just so you know, this very important component, you can do without it for a little while if you lose it. Now, we're beginning with Oracle VM 3.2. We added MySQL to it, and with MySQL, we're doing performing automatic daily hot backups right out of the box, whether you want to or not. It's automatically, the install process sets it up, and it automatically does these backups every day. Now, of course, the Oracle database can handle hot backups very well also. The problem is a lot of people never get around to doing the hot backups. It's that little thing that you're going to get done someday, and they never do. And I can't tell you how many times I've been on these escalated calls and asked to just restore your database. Oh, well, we didn't actually get around to setting up that daily hot backups. So beginning with 3.2, we added MySQL, and with 3.3, it's the only option, and the reason we did that was because of this problem. People will never get around to actually setting up the hot backups. So we just do it for you automatically. Now, it's automatically saved into U01 on your Oracle VM Manager on the server that it's running on. But you can change the backup path. And what I normally do is I recommend that you either create an NFS mount or a SAN LUN, and you mount it onto your server, and then you repoint these automated daily backups by editing this file, etc sysconfig ovmm, and you point your backups to that, the automated daily backups to this location that you mount on your server, and that way it is put onto some robust enterprise class storage, where you're going to have snapshot capabilities and then also easier access to tape. And we'll get into different level, kind of a tiered approach to backups, because you don't want to have just one backup. So you want to have several different levels of backup for your, to recover this, make it easy to recover. All right, so you capture those automatic daily backups, like I said, to the storage platform, NFS or SAN, doesn't matter. And you can do these, I would also do periodic daily or weekly backups of the storage platform, capturing Oracle VM backups to tape. And again, we'll talk about this a little later, but your first defense is, of course, having, well, you know what, we'll just get to that slide in a minute. Now, the recommended best practice, because it's an automatic hot daily backup, the restore is quite simple and only takes about 2 minutes to actually accomplish. So you would just simply stop the Oracle VM Manager, you would run the restore database script, and then you would start your manager again, and it would be put back the way it was. Now, you need to coordinate this backup with backing up /etc on your servers also, because your servers need to be in the same state that coincide with the backup of the manager. Next slide, please. All right, now we're going to talk about the guests themselves, because this is really what everybody's after. So recommended best practices for backups right now are treat the Oracle VM guests as standalone servers. So at this point, we're recommending that you install a backup agent on each guest as if it was a standalone server. And then when you're going to do your backup, you still need to quiesce applications and databases just like you would on any server. So whatever you do on standalone servers, you're going to need to do here also. So the recommended best practice for restore of guests is restore the contents of the repositories. This gets back your Oracle VM guest configuration file, and then the boot image. And then after you've restored that, now you come back and off of tape, you're going to restore your critical files on the Oracle VM guest from the backup. Next slide. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before. I was getting a little ahead of myself, but a tiered approach to backups. So you don't just do a backup to snapshot, right? Or you don't just do tape backups. You do several different levels, which allow you the recovery, different methods for recovery at different recovery speeds. So rely on a robust storage platform as the first level. So the first level is the storage itself, right? You want storage that has RAID on it, so if you lose disk drives, you don't lose data. something that has snapshot capabilities and the ability to remotely replicate from one storage to another storage, maybe another site, something like that. Now that is your first level. So you want something bulletproof. Now use near offline capabilities of the storage platform as a second level to your tiered approach. So you would utilize your platform to snapshot. So you would use snapshots first. Now once you have the snapshots, then you could go to your third level, which is use fast offline capabilities of tape as a third level. Now tape is an extremely important piece of the overall solution. I can't really emphasize that enough. You need to have it put on a tape because you can't keep those snapshots around forever. So you use tape to extend that window of recovery. Now, tape is often faster even than restoring data from a disk because you can redirect it, which we'll see in the last two bullet points here. So SEP can be used to capture the data fast to tape or disk, and that's important too, tape or disk. And then the last point there is SEP can be used to restore data fast to the original source or an alternate location. So you may have occasions where you're not in a disaster or something like that. You've backed up a database and you just want to restore it to use for user acceptance testing or something like that, or development. And you can take that same backup and restore it to a different location. All right, next slide is we're pretty much done with the Oracle VM portion of this and the Oracle Linux. And now I'm going to turn it over to Lanai.
Thanks, Greg.
You know what? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Lanai?
Hey, thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. And we can just do a quick Q&A while we're switching over here. So if anyone has any questions, please enter those into the questions field on the right-hand side of the GoToMeeting console, and we'll go ahead and answer any questions you have for Greg while we get started here. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Okay, I think we're just going to go ahead and we can go get started here. So I will click to the next slide. So we already completed number 1 on the agenda. We're just going to go ahead to number 2 and just kind of give you a brief overview of SEP backup software, kind of who we are as a company, what we specialize in, and how we work with Oracle, both virtual Linux machines, physical Linux machines, and Oracle databases. So basically, our primary concept as a company is to offer one enterprise backup solution for an entire environment. So a lot of folks that we talk to, when we initially make contact with them, sometimes they have 3, 4, 5, 7 different solutions in place to meet their needs. And because we support such a wide range of operating systems, databases, groupware, et cetera, we're really able to help companies consolidate down to one solution, have one single central management interface console, and one single pane of glass to do all of the backups and restores for their entire enterprise. So a lot of times when companies, start looking for a new solution or reevaluate their current solution, there's 4 main questions that we see reoccurring that always come up. And those questions are, is this backup solution going to support my infrastructure? How quick are my backups going to complete? And another important question that a lot of people don't think about is, if I do have a disaster, how long is it going to take me to restore from that? Next question is, how reliable is the solution? If I go to do a restore, are all the folders and files going to be there? Are they all going to be intact? And is there going to be any corrupted data? And typically people also ask, is this a reality within our budget, and is this something that we can afford, and are we going to receive a return on, see a return on investment? So SEP answers all of those questions. Like I already said, we do offer one solution for an entire enterprise with one single central management console that can be for companies that have one data center, multiple data centers, or many locations around the globe. From a performance standpoint, we offer multi-streaming technology, so we're able to back up an unlimited number of streams to disk and up to 64 streams per tape drive. So that scales linear, so if we have 2 tape drives, we have 128 streams, obviously, that we can utilize. As far as reliability goes, we are originally a German-based company, and the laws are a lot different in Germany than in the U.S. and Canada. So we have to adhere to a much stricter set of laws. And one of the laws, when it comes to backup and disaster recovery, is that if we tell another company that we're going to back up their data, we actually become 100% financially responsible for that other company's data, unlike here in North and South America. So the laws are much more stringent, and basically what that equates to is if you get a confirmation that a backup job was completed successfully, you know that your data is going to be there 100% of the time, no questions asked. And lastly, cost. And it's not really something that we consider to be a huge product differentiator, but I do think it's very relevant in the market given the past economic situation, for the past 4 or 5 years. So we do come in very competitively. We come in at about 40% of industry average from a cost standpoint, and we have the best TCO and ROI in the business. This is just a quick overview of a lot of the operating systems, applications, databases, virtual technologies that we support. So just very briefly going left to right, we can run on Windows, Linux, or Unix. We support all the major applications, and from a database standpoint, obviously Oracle is something that we do extremely well. We support quite a few other databases as well, and then we also offer direct image level backups that are all agentless through the virtual technology API. So we can do image level backups and restores, and we also have bare metal recovery for Linux and for Windows. So getting back to the single console to manage multiple locations, I think this is a really important concept that really helps enterprises standardize down to one solution. So some of the features that are very helpful with just having a single management console is the ability to have multiple management access points or multiple GUIs across the enterprise. So individuals can download our GUIs. They're stackable and unlimited. So it's not a licensed component. Users can put those on workstations, on laptops, on remote servers, wherever they typically do the majority of their work. And so one of the other things is we can customize those layouts. Individual users can customize their own layouts. So an Oracle DB administrator can have all of his Oracle backup tasks populate first when he opens his GUI, whereas a sysadmin could have a whole different view when he opens his GUI that's relevant to the work that he's doing with the solution. This is just a typical kind of very basic and simple environment that we would normally come across, and so we can just kind of talk about some of the features and functionality and what our capabilities are and how we would back up an environment that looks like this. So on the left-hand side, you have a SEP backup server. We could have a locally attached disk to that backup server. We could also have a NAS or any type of disk media or tape. It could also be connected to a SAN. We can have tape and disk included in that SAN. And then along the bottom here, right under the SAN, we have several different servers. So we have a file server, a database server, an email server, and if those are directly connected to the SAN, we can do what we call a LAN-free backup. So for the file server and the database server, if that was an Oracle server, we could directly back up that data from those servers directly to the SAN. And we call that a LAN-free backup. So we're not having that traffic go out over the local area network. We're not congesting that network, and we're allowing folks to continue working, especially in a 24/7 work environment. We also see quite a bit of performance enhancement when we push data directly from a server to a SAN. You'll see over on the kind of in the middle, the virtual host cluster. We're actually able to back up the VMs, so we can get the VM images directly written to SAN as well. Going further to the right, we're able to back up through multiple firewalls. We can back up to the cloud. And there's several different options for that. We can either push data to the cloud, or we can have a remote cloud server in the cloud and pull data to the cloud. And then on the bottom, with the remote locations, we put what we call a remote device server at a remote location. It's the same as a media agent. And so we can have locally attached storage. That could be an LTO tape drive. It could be disk. It could be NAS, SAN, whatever the case may be. So we're able to back up to locally attached storage, and then we can either replicate or migrate that data back across to a central data center, or even send it to a different remote location. So our scheduling is very open and easily customizable depending on the needs of the enterprise. Just a quick overview of our multi-streaming and how that works. So on the left-hand side here, we have 9 servers, all different operating systems. And so one of the things SEP does a little bit differently is the way that we schedule our backup jobs. So instead of scheduling one server to back up and then waiting for the next server, waiting for the first one to complete and switching over to the second and then to the third, et cetera, what we do is we set up task groups. And so we could set up a group for databases. We could have a group for files. We could have a sysvolume group. And so once we kick off those different groups, we'll actually kick off all of the servers at the same time, because all the groups will start at the same time. And we could have anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, or 8 different streams running off each one of these servers at the same time. So we could have 50 or 60 different streams coming off of these 9 servers. And by doing that, we're able to really fully utilize the bandwidth that we have to work with. So in a 1 gig environment, we expect to see about 100 to 125 gigs an hour for a backup speed. In a 10 gig environment, we see about 1.2 terabytes an hour, and that scales linear. So we constantly hit theoretical maximums for the data transfer speeds, and we're undoubtedly the fastest backup solution on the market today. So a couple real-world examples of what we've been going over. Vodafone is a perfect example. They're the partner company of Verizon in EMEA, in Europe, and so they're a great example of managing a lot of different remote locations from one central data center through one central management console. So they have us deployed to 3,500 remote sites currently. Over the next year, that number should grow to about 4,800 locations total, and they manage everything from one central data center. NARA, which is U.S. National Archiving and Record Administration, we held their enterprise email system, and this is a great example of the multi-streaming technology. So before they were using SEP, their backups were taking about 6.5 days to back up. So basically that meant they had a period on Friday afternoon for about 5 or 6 hours when they weren't doing backups, and the rest of the time was just one continuous backup running the entire week. So we came in, implemented multi-streaming, got everything set up, and our first backup that we kicked off took 13 hours. And after a little modification and configuration, we got that down to 11 hours. So they went from doing full backups once a week and having, not always 100% success rate, down to 11 hours, and they were able to do full backups every night. Port of San Diego, similar situation, over 100 plus backup hours, for each full backup, and more notably, their Oracle backups for their Oracle databases, they were taking 4 hours and 52 minutes, or 4 hours and 50 minutes, I think, and we were able to get those backups down to 42 minutes. And we'll get into a little more of why that happened. Part of it's multi-streaming, but there's also some other things, some really cool things that we do with Oracle as well. And then Public Works of Canada, they use our solution at 42 different locations, and they manage everything from one central console again. Just some other features that we offer. We already talked about multi-streaming. We have an easy archive solution as well, which uses WORM technology. We do deduplication and replication, and I put generic drivers on here, and what we mean by that is instead of creating our own drivers or driver configurations for each type of media that we support, we just leverage the operating system drivers. So any type of media that's recognized by an operating system, we can use as a backup target. So it just makes our solution extremely hardware agnostic, and we're able to write to any type of device that a user wants to use. So focusing on Oracle and on databases, some of the different types of backups that we offer, we have a copy backup, we have full, differential, incremental, and we also have archive log backups as well. We can do database point-in-time recovery. One of the really cool things is we can do parallel backup channels, and this obviously decreases backup times, so we can have different calls, handing over data at the same time. We have archive log handling, and just an example of that is you could delete archive logs after a backup, or you could do it after 3 successful backups, or you can really configure that however you'd like. We have restore control with or without RMAN catalog, and we can recover after a restore. So all of these backup methods are fully managed and integrated once again into a central management console. It doesn't matter, what operating system the Oracle database is running on, whether it's Oracle Linux or a different, operating system. So really the coolest and I think the most important thing to take away from, how we communicate with databases and what we can do for Oracle databases is, most of our competitors, they will send a command to RMAN, and they'll say, give us a copy of the data that's in the database, and RMAN will hand over that copy, and it'll write that data to basically a kind of landing zone. And then our competitors will take the data out of that landing zone and back it up to backup media. And what we're able to do, which is unique to SEP, is we're able to make the call to RMAN and ask for the copy of that data. And when that data is handed to SEP, it's a direct handoff that gets written directly to our backup media. So instantly, by doing that, by eliminating 2 writes of the data and using a landing zone, by eliminating that, we do 2 things. One is we cut the backup window in half automatically, no matter what, before we even start talking about the multi-streaming. And the second thing is for large enterprises that have, large Oracle databases, we're instantly decreasing the hardware requirements that folks need to, facilitate that disk space by 50%. So, in the case of a 2 petabyte Oracle database, that's all of a sudden 2 petabytes less hardware that the user needs to go out and procure. So, again, the direct handoff from the data is huge. And that's one of the reasons that we're able to decrease Oracle backup tests, so significantly. So again, using the multi-streaming and having one central management console, not only can you manage your database, but the rest of your environment as well. And I think we'll talk a little bit about the bare metal restore. So basically, we offer bare metal recovery for Linux. It can restore an entire server, the operating system, any databases or applications that are running on that. And basically, it just creates a bootable image file, and you can either burn that to a disk or just, start up the boot up the image file, and it just gives you a wizard and asks you if you'd like to restore to similar or dissimilar hardware. and then kind of goes through, asks if you want to increase partition sizes, etc. And that's all managed through our console as well. So here's just a couple examples of different types of Oracle database configurations that we commonly see. And there's also some information on here about licensing as well, which there's various different licensing options, but this is one of them. So we could just have a very simple Oracle database with a SEP client backing up that one Oracle database. We could see 2 Oracle servers hosted by 2 different operating systems. They don't have to be the same operating systems again. In this slide, we have 2 Oracle database servers hosted by 2 different operating systems with a dedicated recovery manager server and a total of 8 SIDs and 1 RMAN catalog SID. Here we have a 2-node cluster, and with this we can just see that there's 5 active SIDs, 10 total, so we have failover. In this example, there's a 4-node Oracle rack environment, and there's 12 rack SIDs, 5 local SIDs across different operating systems. So I think the whole point of this is just to show that it doesn't matter if you have one Oracle database or a more intricate, higher performing enterprise level system. We can support it no matter what. And as well as handling backups and disaster recovery, we can also help with security. We make sure that everything we do is locked down and secure from the beginning to the end. So the backup streams can be encrypted to protect access to guest virtual machines from unauthorized users in the case of, Oracle OVMs. Logs can be sent to a syslog server to maintain a single centralized location for tracking information. We can send notifications to email addresses or cell phones or provide immediate alerts for failed or completed jobs. And basically all of these features are included in the main SEP GUI notification system, and they can just be used to bring backup information to a centralized audit system or split different reporting up amongst different project managers or different directors or whatever the case may be. So SEP fully supports backup of all Oracle system identifier instances in a high availability Oracle rack environment. And because we can communicate directly with the rack SID virtual IP addresses, backup tasks are able to properly follow the SIDs, even if they've moved from one host to another. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and switch over to a live demo right now. So if you guys have any questions of anything we've done so far, please do enter those into the questions box. And then we're going to go through, like I said, a live demo. We're going to answer some questions, and then we'll come back to just talk a little bit about our partnership with Oracle and some exciting upcoming events that we have planned together. So let's go ahead and switch over to James Delmonico, and we can begin the live demo portion of the webinar. And again, if you guys have any questions of the slides that we've gone over so far, any questions for myself or for Greg or for James on the live demo portion, please get those in and we'll answer those at the end. So James, I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
This is a fresh installation of the Custom Server product here on Unbreakable Oracle Linux. Everything that you see here as far as the GUI, it's the same build of the software for Linux, Windows, and Solaris. So there's no difference in functionality. It's actually even the same code. When we do a disk storage, we use our data store technology. This has the ability to do inline deduplication in software. Also, it has the ability to use any type of disk storage, so NAS, SAN, local RAID, even USB. And mainly this serves to keep the drive from getting full. The logical units that we use within that are media pools, and each media pool has its own retention time frame. In this case, 7 days. So any data we write to this pool will stay in the backup system for a week. We use all generic drivers, meaning the operating system drivers, and so we support all tape drives, all storages, all tape loaders. So you never have to check for supported list or anything like that. You can just assume that whatever you have will be compatible. When we do backup of a Linux machine, we have a number of different choices and backup types that we support. By default, with the disk backup, we use this all word. And this means all fixed disks, all local storage, and this picks up all of the system volumes. When we do Linux-based system recovery, this is a fairly unique image-level backup technology. The result of this backup job is actually a bootable ISO image, and it knows how to make the partitioning, file systems, and mount points the same on the recovered system. So this is a very small backup, usually something along the lines of 40 megabytes. And this is able to take a new machine, even with a different type of storage, or physical to virtual, or anything like that, make the disks the same, and then we can go right to restoring our latest incremental backup. And I think, commonly with image-level backup technologies, you back up the entire image of the machine, you restore the entire image of the machine, including the empty space, and then you go and overwrite that with your latest incremental. With this system, you don't back up the empty space, you don't restore the empty space, and you boot up the image, makes the partitions the same, and then you immediately start writing the backup. So you get the lowest downtime and the fastest time to recovery. We do support all of the other Linux databases and directory services as well as Oracle. When we do an Oracle database backup, we have special technology where we tell Oracle that we're a tape drive. And the neat thing about that is that, with a common Oracle backup, you're using RMAN to dump all the database into a staging area on the backup server or on the database server itself, and then backing those up as a file. With our method, we connect directly to RMAN and pipeline the data off the system. So there's no intermediary storage required. Commonly, that makes the database backup take half the time as the other vendors. It also means that we require half the storage by being able to stream the data off. We have the ability to do multi-stream Oracle backups, meaning we can back up all the different SIDs at the same time, and we don't have any of the inherent limitations with staging the data. All of the other Oracle technologies are supported, and as far as Oracle VM and Oracle Database, you can rest assured that everything involved with Oracle is covered by the backup technology. One big thing about the software is that you treat the scheduling differently because Sesame uses multiple streams. So by default, what we do is we create 6 scheduling groups during the original installation. And those groups cover all the different types of data that you'd want to back up. And those groups are disaster recovery, and that would be things like directories or LDAP. And then you have system volumes, databases, mail and groupware systems, and virtual machines. I'm just going to create a virtual machine group like I would during a first-time installation as an example. So here we've created our virtual machine backup group. We've given it a media pool, and we'll set it for weekly incrementals and weekly fulls. Okay, so that's a complete setup of the scheduling group for virtual machines. Now we go and add an agentless client. And this is the same idea for any type of virtualization, but what we'll see here is a Citrix example. So we select the operating system from the supported operating systems. You can see everything is supported as far as different Unixes and different hypervisors as well as Mac. We put our API login credentials here. And this would be the same for VMware. We're able to control routing here by affecting the initiator of the connection. now that we have our, we've added our agentless client, and then we go to add the actual backup itself. We can see all the different virtual machines that are available here. So we've added our agentless client, we've added our task, and then all we do is put in a scheduling group, and we can walk away and know that the backup will be completed on schedule. As far as Oracle database backups, I've made an Oracle database backup job here to do full backup of this demo SID. And to emulate what the schedule would do, I just start the backup, and we'll be able to see the actual backup job complete here. There's some other great features. Sesame uses one build for all customers. So you have all of the abilities of the enterprise system and everything that banks and insurance companies with 10,000, 100,000 unit deployments use in the same build. It's an open architecture and design system, so we're able to see everything that the GUI is doing. It's just an SQL client. This lets me do custom reporting using this as a query builder, and then pasting these into the email notifications. There are performance views that show us the progress and the performance of the backups that are happening. And also, all of the logs are available here. When we do a specialty backup like Oracle database, we're using our standard agent technology to do all of the heavy lifting and network transportation, and that works with all of the different types of backup jobs. So you get one behavior for all across the system, rather than differences for each backup type. It also, from a development point of view, helps us keep the code very small, because the Oracle module knows how to talk to the Oracle database, but doesn't have to worry about files and network and things like that. By default, we set up a simple backup schedule. There's options for different approaches. You can do as many schedules as you want. You can do tiered storage. As far as media servers, any operating system and any storage is supported. So you can have a Linux backup server with a Windows admin GUI with a Solaris media server, for example, or any other combination that you want. Any other storage technology is also supported. So if you have deduplication appliance or some sort of deduplication in hardware or SAN replication or anything like that, you'll know that that's supported always. When we deal with our media pools, they're all presented flat here as targets. So once we have the media pool set up, or the tapes formatted, if you will, then we don't have to worry about what machine the storage is on, or what operating system, or what type of storage it is. It can be disk, it can be tape, it can be any combination, and that's abstracted from the actual backup administrator. There's built-in support for open files for all operating systems by default. There's free support included for eDirectory and Active Directory backup, as well as the Windows registries. There's also support for all the different technologies that you would use on Linux. Everything in the Microsoft and Novell technology kits are also available and well supported. There's excellent support for VMware Citrix and Hyper-V as well. So any type of virtualization technology or any type of growth or change the company goes through, you can keep the same solution and still back up all your data. At this point, I want to open it up for questions, Q&A, see where we're
all right, perfect. Thanks, James. We're going to go ahead and just kind of go real quickly through some upcoming events that we have together. If anyone has any questions, please enter those into the questions box on the GoToMeeting console. I have had a couple questions come in already, so we'll get to those here in a second. I am going to just real quickly go over our partnership with Oracle. So everything that we do from a backup standpoint is fully certified with Oracle. We're an Oracle Gold partner, and you can see the different certifications that we have down here along the bottom. Also, we'd like to invite everyone who's attending today to join us at Oracle Open World. We're going to be at booth 611 and also 313. So please, if anyone's in the area or if anyone's attending Oracle Open World, please stop by, say hi, introduce yourself. We'd love to chat with you. If you have any questions, follow-up questions or anything like that, we'd love to meet you and go through any specific environment questions or anything like that with you. So again, here's some social media places where you can reach out to us or follow us, both for SEP and for Oracle. So we'd love to hear from you through social media, and I will go ahead and start answering the questions that have come in. So let's see. First question is, can you explain the advantages of SEP over Networker and Avamar backup? So basically, I would say the biggest ones in relation to what we're talking about today, with our partnership with Oracle and other things, is basically just the amount of support that we offer for all of the different operating systems, applications, groupware, et cetera. And specifically to Oracle, when it comes to Oracle databases or something like that, it's that we back up Oracle databases in less than half the amount of time, 100% of the time guaranteed no matter what, and we minimize the storage requirements by at least 50%. So, if someone has a 1 petabyte Oracle database, they no longer need 2 petabytes of storage to be able to back that up. So I think, those two things just in themselves are enormous advantages for any enterprise, not to mention the additional operating systems, everything else that's supported as well. And there's a lot of things that are built into our product, I think, that are just, smaller, kind of things that we kind of take for granted, but that are very useful. An example is if we, start off a backup task and it backs up 95% and it fails, instead of just ruining all the data and having to start completely from scratch, users can actually go in and access any of that 90% of the backup that's already been completed. And so I kind of use it, I use like a bucket of water as an example for that. So, if you're filling up a bucket of water and something happens right when you're almost full, all of our competitors just basically kick over the bucket, and it's worthless. Whereas with SEP, you can actually go in and use that data. But there's a lot of management interface things that make it quite a bit easier to use. There's a lot of different remote capabilities that we have, cloud technologies, things like that we're able to do. So, I'd be happy to catch up one-on-one if there's any specific questions, to your environment in comparison to those solutions. Please reach out to us and let us know, and I'd be happy to kind of go over some of this. Next question is, can I download presentations? And yes, this presentation will be available on our media sites, and also I believe it'll be on GoToMeeting for 30 or 60 days. You can go back in and watch it, or send a link to other folks and they can register and watch it. It'll also be on our YouTube channel and on our website on our media page. Okay. Next question is, when you say SEP is certified for Exadata Analytics Ready, what exactly does that mean? And James, I'm going to turn that one over to you because, quite honestly, I'm not sure.
So SEP is an Oracle partner, and we support all of the different Oracle technologies, no matter what database or CRM type technology is running on top of Oracle. Our support for the Oracle database and Oracle Linux systems is able to cover and back up that data no matter what the actual content is. We also provide advanced scripting interface, so any type of special policy things can be programmed before and after the backup task. We also support pass-through of notifications for those options as well, so you can back up anything with the technology.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. Okay, so it looks like those are all of the questions that came in. If there's any other questions, or if there's any interest in doing a demo or a trial, we offer a 30-day trial version. You can download it from our website, or you can get in contact with us. We're more than happy to help users set up a trial version or a proof of concept for testing. So if there's any follow-up questions or anyone would like to do some testing, please let us know. Contact information is up now, and we look forward to hearing from you. So Greg, just wanted to thank you again for your presentation. That was great. Wanted to thank Oracle for co-hosting this webinar with us. We definitely appreciate our partnership. We're looking forward to Oracle Open World. And please join us for the continuation of our webinar series. We should have another webinar about the third week of next month as well. So thank you everybody for attending. Look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a great day.